Alright guys, I'm back. The 360 time. 2021 iRacing Season 2, Week 1, Lernerville official week here at Lernerville. This is a 360 wing sprint car. We did the 410 at Kokomo last night. Yeah, Kokomo. And I promised you guys I'd try and get this one out as soon as possible for the 360 here, since I know, a lot more of you probably run the 360 than you do the 410, especially as you're ranking up and unlocking cars, so to speak, with the license system. So I know, kind of a day late and a dollar short here. That's probably going to be my motto for this series, because I'm not gonna. There's just no way for me to get these out before Mondays for you guys, and get these types of track states naturally worn in the official practice lobbies before the race launches. I got lucky and found this one a couple hours ago before I had to leave the house and save the replay, and it was pretty slicked off. So got lucky. The top was pretty worn in, and I got a pretty decent look at what the track will be similar to. The bottom's not going to look like this in 1 and 2. It might look the way it does in 3 and 4 a little bit, but yeah, so just want to talk about line here first, like the last video. We'll talk about line choice and setting up passes and things of that nature, and then we'll have to hop into another server to hang on, let me close this. I'll hop into another server to show you guys the setup changes. So what I did was I took that 410 base Lernerville setup that I had in that folder, or not folder, I guess, the forum, and transferred it over to the 360. Didn't really care for it that much. I knew I wasn't going to, so I made some changes right away. And I wouldn't say it's too much different. It's a little bit tighter for the top, but it's also a little bit kind of like Kokomo last night. We're down here we went down to 1/2 inch of front stagger to keep the car rotating, and a couple other changes. So I'm going to let this play here from this 13th lap on. I ran this bottom 1 and 2 and top 3 and 4. This is going to be a pretty good line in the feature. It's going to be this, bottom 1 and 2, or top 3 and 4, or top 1 and 2 and top 3 and 4. So I ran this more than I did the top. These guys, when they, let me actually go show you. When they were running laps, they were probably jumping off the track or falling off the track right here. And you could see, I mean, there's a big hole right here. And I just kept falling off of it. So the cushion wasn't very natural on this spot. So, and you'll have that actually in a feature too. If a caution comes out and a guy goes over right here, it knocks all the cushion down. A lot of guys are going to follow him on the next time it goes green. So that's something to be aware of at Lernerville. There will be a hole right here, like middle, just past entry, really. And it's really key to not hit that, and ways to avoid that and ways to still be fast is this kind of bottom line in 1 and 2 if there's still some pretty good tack down here and it's really, really dark up here, like you can see. So I ran a few lines here. I'll just let it play, and then I'll go back and talk through it. Let me make sure the sounds are good, actually, because the sound, yeah, we need to turn the sounds up so you guys can hear the motor again. Okay, now I'm going to pause here because I do this again for a few more laps, so we'll fast forward this in a second. But obviously this is going to be a little bit slicker here and an official probably. When this happens, Lernerville, you can kind of come out wide, and there's going to be slick here, but you've got to be out of the gas and really kind of late apex this corner. to get the most speed out of it to get back to the top in 3 and 4. So when there's moisture, you can pretty much do this and stick the bottom pretty well. But there's going to be some slick, and there's, most importantly, there's going to be slick that forms like a groove up right here. And the key is, getting to the late apex and being able to run down this line. I didn't really have to do it in this lobby. I could slide up right to here. But you'll notice as guys exit this line in the official, you're going to get a slick line that forms right here. Everybody's going to be running the bottom. They're going to come up on this line right there, and there's going to be slick. So you can come in a little bit later once it gets slick down here and cut it down and really get this angle out of the corner back to the top instead of this angle back out to the top. So it's a late apex when it slicks off, and it's, get down there in the moisture and really stick it and get back in the throttle when there's a lot of moisture down here. So I wanted to say that before anything else, because Lernerville is a pretty good track when it comes to dynamically changing, and you can run it pretty hard when there's moisture down here, but a lot of times there's going to be a lot of other guys down there. They're not comfortable going to the top up here in 1 and 2, so you'll have to kind of late apex it and get out underneath the slick as your key coming out of 2. When there's moisture, you don't have to worry about it. You can keep momentum up and slide up and stay in the moisture out of the corner. Biggest thing is getting back up here and straight before you get to the corner. You don't ever want to be coming in and have to really whip yourself sideways. You want to be up here ready to angle yourself into the corner before you get to the spot you got to turn. So kind of plays a big factor in setting up passes. Like I talked about at Kokomo, the better run you can get out of 4, you're going to be able to go to the bottom on a guy that thinks the top is still there, or, vice versa, go to the top where a guy thinks the bottom's still there. Make a lot of passes in 1 and 2, or set somebody up, go to the bottom here, and then in 3 and 4, you can, last lap of the race kind of thing, throw a really deep slider over here and land up, right in front of him. And the flag stand is so close to the exit of the corner here, you're going to be landing over here and driving off the cushion here, right out in front of somebody. And, I've seen a lot of races get stolen from guys like that who are in the lead going into 3 and 4 on the last lap. They go run the top like they have been the whole time, and then a big deep slider comes, lands right up here in front of them, about a car length in front of them, and they've got nowhere to go because they didn't cut down. They didn't think it was going to happen, and then boom, the flag stand's right there. So another thing to keep an eye out on for sure. Eventually here, I think I try the top. Let's go find some laps on the top in 1 and 2. I think maybe here. Yeah. So you can see here, this is lap 20. Let's just watch my fastest lap here. This is my fastest lap of the session. So aggressive getting down into the bottom. You can really kind of gas this thing up when it's in the slick here. I didn't put a lot of gear in it. Oh, I can't check. I think I put 570. And to be honest, I don't really know 100% what the best gear for Lernerville is. I think default has a 578. I think you're running out of RPMs, especially when it gets slick if you go that low. So I went a little bit taller, down to 570. I like it, so that's what I think I'll stick on. Really aggressive down into 1 and 2 here. Let the car drift out and keep it straight. And then get back up to the top. Point the car perfectly through the corner. All the way right rear, just leaning on the cushion. And set my fastest lap. And then we go to 1 and 2. You can see that hole, boom, right there where the car starts hopping a little bit. You can see I was nervous getting into the corner too. And the car, there's just no cushion. So your car, if you're too far, you're too far. There's no coming back. There's no cushion to lean on in that spot if guys go over this constantly. So something to keep an eye out on. You can kind of get back into the gas pretty early when there's this line of moisture here on the exit of 2. And, basically your whole car is almost in all the moisture except for maybe your left front. You can get the power down. And I think my wing is only at a -5, so I did put a 30 wing in for Lernerville. I know I talked about not going very high on wing angle for 360s, but I think Lernerville is a track that you can get away with 30 wing angle. It's not going to slow you down that much. These are pretty big wide corners, especially 1 and 2. So you want that stability and speed and grip through the corner more so than you want that run down the short backstretch or the a little bit longer front stretch. But for me, it's all about the stability here and making sure you can stay on the track. Running the top here, you can see the lap times are a little bit slower. Obviously, it's really unstable in 1 and 2, so I didn't run it very, very well. Had there not been a giant hole here, I could have been a little more aggressive. I only did this for a few laps, and then I want to show you guys another line in 1 and 2, the slider line where there's moisture. I don't know if I do it on this lap. Nope, next lap. There's moisture in the middle of the track. If a feature comes around where it's slick on the top and slick on the bottom, and you can see some marbles through the middle of 1 and 2, there's a sneaky little slider line that can really pay off. And I didn't do it there. Do I do it here? I do it here. Okay, so I don't know what I was doing that last lap. That was not a very good line. I wasn't high enough or low enough to run it. So anyway, you're almost like you're going to turn in late to the bottom, right? But you see these marbles, and you'll see just a little lighter patch of dirt when the feature rolls around, and there's some grip right through that middle there. So you can get it going pretty good through here and get up to this exit of 2 and find all that moisture that we just talked about where you can get full throttle again. Land there, make sure the car is underneath you, and put the power down when you're ready to go and you're pointed straight. I think I do it a couple more times. I'll just let it play out so you guys can watch it maybe one more time or something. So you can almost overshot it there. Went back to the top one more time, hit the hole. And then I'll show you guys where I go over in 3 and 4, where this is kind of a tricky spot too there as well. So just got too high on the cushion here and just right over the top. Just a little too high on the entry, and the right rear is never really dug in, and the car just tips right over the edge. So that's what's gonna, when you see what happens in 1 and 2, let me see if I did it. Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing, right? Get into the corner, you're going, the car just, there's nothing to lean on, and you just tip right over. So you've got to be aware of that. If guys have gone over a lot, you've got to pay attention to where those cautions are coming out, because you're going to get a hole here, and you're probably going to get a hole in 3 and 4 as well, because 3 and 4 is just as tricky. You know, there's not a lot of room for error here, especially if the cushion's not very thick. And if guys have been messing around in practice and just jumping off of it and stuff, you're not going to build up a very thick cushion. So something to keep an eye on. Let me go to the test session really quick now to pull up the setup for you guys real quick. Let me go to the website, move this really quick while I type in my info. Test session 360. We'll just put it at Lernerville because that's where it's at. I think it was late afternoon. And let's go check it out. The thing I like most about this setup is that, like I said last night at Kokomo in that 410, that setup's probably not going to run the bottom very well at Kokomo. If you do manage to do it, you're probably gonna have to pull the wing back quite a bit. I mean, it's gonna be pretty loose on the entry. Keeping a 1/2 inch of stagger in the front here allows you to kind of maneuver, but it doesn't. When it slicks off like it did, and if I was trail braking on 1 inch of stagger, I would have gone over multiple times on the cushion, because the car is so hard to turn in when you're trying to trail brake and slow the car down out of the gas in the slick, that it pushes you really, really tight with that 1 inch of stagger. So this is the setup that we switched to. You guys should have, I think it's just R. Yes. That's the old one. Yeah, that's the old one. So they even had a 486 in it still. So we made a few changes. I'll pull that up now. I tried a 2. I didn't like that one that much. I don't know why. I don't even know if it was this much different, but drop down the stagger to 11. and tire pressures are all the same as before. 1/2 inch of stagger in the front, and changes we made were minimal. Okay, we went back to a 6.3 on the right front here. That's just going to help me turn in even a little bit more. If you get a little loose, you can go back to 5.5s, or if you feel like you're turning in too much, you can drop that down back to 5.5. This 5.5 I like. It helps with the bumps at certain tracks, and Lernerville is kind of notorious for getting pretty bumpy on the front stretch. And then I don't remember what the diameters on there were, but I'm a 1025 guy. I just am. That for when the slick rolls around, I'm putting 1025s in the rear for some reason. That's just my kind of a theme I have, I guess. I don't remember if the bump or anything changed. It might have been a 4.6 on the other one. I can't remember. Went down to a 3.5 just to keep me a little bit more bite, I guess, on the cushion, and holding me there. And that, dropping that bump down and having that rebound up, it is going to tighten you up a little bit on the corner entry. That's why I didn't really have to go much further back than 5 wings. So, the wheel spacing on the left rear might have already been at 1425, I think. And then I know for sure the wheel spacing on the right rear was 1650. We brought that in to a 1625. Everything else was just rear turns I changed. I think it was two turns here and a half a turn here. I went back up. I got the crossweight quite, that's pretty high crossweight. And in order to do that, I just went to 0 turns here and found 175 on the left rear to match the iRacing default. And like I said, my theory is that iRacing default crossweights are there for a reason. That they've got to be some type of comfort level there for a majority of drivers when they're putting these things together. And in my mind, that is the crossweight number, and that's what I try to hit. I got right on the mark with all these adjustments, and found out it feels really good. So adjustments, if it doesn't feel good, if you're too loose or the track's not slick enough, and you can go a lot of different ways, you can go back up to 1 on this stagger. If you can run the car really, really hard still, you could take the wing out of it, the top wing angle out of it. You can, if you're a little bit loose, you can go up to 6 on this bump as well, on the left front. If you're too tight on, say, maybe entry and middle, I wouldn't change the stagger. I really like the 11 stagger on the exit. I felt really, really, really good coming out of both corners with that 11 stagger. If you're a little tightened up on the entry, I would start with the right rear wheel spacing and just 1 click at a time and go from there. And then use the rear. Like if you go to 1650, you're going to get a extra 0.1 of crossweight. You can try to go... Oh, wrong way. Is that the wrong way? No, you would. So you can try to hit these turns to get back to it. It's going to skip over 48.7. So it just depends on where you land on this. See, I had to go 2 clicks and then a click there to get it back to the 48.7. But in theory, 48.7, 48.8, 48.6, you're close enough, right? So if you had to go out a click there, you might not have to worry about resetting the weights and all that. I mean, 1 click isn't going to change you that much. It doesn't even change the weights that much. It takes a 2 pounds off of there, 1 pound off there. So I don't think you'll feel anything significant if you change some things to loosen you up or tighten you up. But yeah, definitely follow those, and again, use that PDF to your advantage. And if I put in there what to do if something feels a certain way. So I like this thing though. This feels really, really good for me. Lernerville is a decent track for me, I think, especially in a 360. I have a lot of comfort here. So I think I hope you guys, are able to trust this setup and be able to put the car where you want to when you need to. And I hope that's what I've built in here. For me, if I was going to go run a 30 lap feature, I would have a total confidence in this car right now. But all all goes back to looking at the line I was running and trying to hit those marks and watching the throttle and things like that, like I talked about last night. So if you guys got questions, again, as always, leave the comments. I got iRacing messages today from everybody, like saying, how much they appreciated all this stuff, and YouTube comments. I had so many emails today from all the notifications, so I kind of woke up with a smile on my face, that I had 20 something emails to go through, so that felt pretty good. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thanks for liking the videos and subbing and all that stuff I usually say at the end. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. You guys have a great night. Take care. Spend the next 4 days with this setup and let me know how it goes. See you guys.